Hey, this is iEmpire here with Volume 36 of Nintendo Switch Hidden Gems. Thanks for stopping by. Hope everybody's doing good. So I got 5 great games to go over today, and started off with a game called Arkanoid Eternal Battle. So this is a fun modern adaptation of a classic breakout style game from the 80s. And if you're not familiar with that is basically in its simplest form, you've got a bar at the bottom of your screen that you can move horizontally and use it to hit a ball to break bricks that are above you. Um, the bricks can be in different layouts and it can take different hits to destroy them. In order to clear the level, you destroy all the blocks, and if you miss a ball, you lose a credit. But what Arkanoid does is it adds a lot of different modes to that. It does a Battle Royale version where you have up to 25 players online, and at the end of each round, the lowest score gets knocked out. You got a versus mode, up to 4 players locally. You got Eternal Battle, which takes it to space, and you basically have to break your ship out from space walls. Then there's a campaign mode. And what makes the game a lot of fun is there's just tons of different pickups that you get during the game to add tons of different variety to the game. So you can get ones that like make your bar larger or smaller. Or you can get a split ball where you got 2 balls to control to take out the blocks. You just never know what you're going to get, so it adds a lot of fun. Game looks great. It's very colorful. It's fun to look at. There's like trails of light and flashes. It's got a really energetic soundtrack. So it's really addictive gameplay, single player, multiplayer, and I think it's a great game too to play when you want to break from the bigger titles that you're playing, just to give yourself a little variety. So here's the trailer for Arkanoid Eternal Battle. All right, next game is a really fun horizontal shooter called Rigid Force. It's got 6 stages. You are piloting a ship for the planet Freedom Force, something like that, and you're protecting the people from these intergalactic enemies that are invading. Decent story enough, but the real star is the gameplay and the features of it. So you got primary and secondary weapons that you upgrade through pickups that you find. And then you've got a couple things that you're collecting during your battle. So you collect energy from downed enemies, and you fill up a meter. And once you have filled it up, you get a powerful shot or a energy sword that'll wipe out multiple enemies on the screen at once. And then you're also trying to collect force shards, which are used to you get these drones. They fire forward and backwards. You can have up to 4 at a time, and you can put them in different formation and are a huge help during battle. So you always want to be trying to collect the shards to get those. There's a risk reward and all that because your ship has like a magnetic draw to them, but when you use it, it really slows down your ship and your maneuverability, makes you more vulnerable. But this game has a ton of content. It's got story mode, arcade mode, and boss rush mode, and it's got 40 in-game achievements to work on and complete. So lots of replayability here. Nice smooth 60 frames per second, nice energetic soundtrack, really fun shooter. So here's the trailer for Rigid Force. All right, up next is an interesting strategy RPG called Other Side. And this has a lot of Lovecraftian tones to it. But in this world, it seems like there's this hopeless battle against this extra dimensional being called the Suffering. And its goal is to destroy everyone and everything. But there's this being called the Red Mother who has the ability to reset the world after the Suffering has completely destroyed it. And she uses her, calls her daughters to fight the battles. So combat is grid based, and you have up to 4 daughters that you use. And the goal is to either kill all the enemies or do things like escort an NPC through a battlefield. So instead of action points in this game, you use ticks in a timeline. So you use your ticks for movement or your attacks in that, and the sisters share that timeline. A really cool thing in this game too, as far as the battles, is that your attacks is that it can move enemies forwards and backwards in the timeline. So it adds a really unique strategy to your attacks. There's no healing in the game. You can sacrifice a daughter for a boost or for health. Occasionally you could resurrect a daughter with a really rare currency, but it's not very often you're able to do that. But whether you win or lose, you're always gaining progress. You're gaining new abilities, increasing your levels, getting new boosts. What I really like about this game too is the art style. It's mostly black and white, but except for like the red scarves of the daughters, the blood, and then the eerie yellow eyes of the enemies in that. So really interesting title if you're looking for something different in RPG. So here's the trailer for Other Side.
I can give you my daughters. You will need them to fight. Be like you used to be. Suffering's coming to touch your reality. Put an end to suffering.
Our next title is called Four Tales, and this is a single-player narrative adventure card game. And it follows the story of these 2 thieves that have decided they're going to pull off one more major job before they retire from the lifestyle. So they end up stealing this magical lyre. Some people call it a lyre, whichever. And it has the ability, when touched, to show alternate timelines. So they've decided to use it for good and try to prevent some catastrophic events that threaten to destroy the world. So this has a really great story and has a surprising amount of depth and replayability. It takes several playthroughs to experience all the different multiple storylines and endings that the game has to offer. The artwork is great. It's like straight out of a fantasy storybook, and the voice acting in it is also top notch. And there's a really good narrator in it to help move the story along. Really likable characters in the game. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of the mechanics because it'll take too long, but you've got vision cards, which are the major catastrophic time-sensitive events in the game. Then you've got mission cards where you carry out your story. And then from there, it focuses on exploration and combat. So exploration, you use your cards to find key items to complete your missions and get resources, things like that. And then the combat is turn-based. A lot of fun. But you equally have the opportunity to avoid combat by using your fame, fortune, and notoriety to your advantage. You can do things like use your money to bribe guards or intimidate people, things like that. So it's a lot of freedom in how you want to fight, or play the game. You can either fight or use diplomacy. But a really, really well done game. If you're new to a card game, want to try one, I highly recommend this one. Or if you like card games, don't hesitate and pick this game up. So here's the trailer for Four Tales.
So, would you like to know the fate of the realm? Good. Then let's begin. First, pick a card. Aha, the thief. You know, I once heard a story about a thief and his friend who were asked to steal a magical lyre. But it was heavily guarded. And it wasn't exactly smart to attack the guards head-on. So, they had to get creative. Now you're getting it. But no sooner had they gotten their hands on the lyre than the thief began to have terrifying visions of the end of the world. And he knew that the only way to escape it was to gather his companions and set off on a voyage into the unknown. And then, well, what happens next is entirely up to you.
Alright, this last title is my favorite of the bunch, and that's Bloodroots. Had an absolute blast playing this game. This is a single player action title. It takes place in like a Wild West setting where he plays an outlaw, Mr. Wolf, who is shot and left for dead by his former gang members, and the story of his revenge. So this takes place across several different open level areas, and the goal is to take out all of the enemies in it and use whatever you have at your disposal to kill them all. There's over 150 different weapons in the game, really great variety. You got things from guns, swords, axes, barrels. There's just so many things you can pick up in this game and use as a weapon. And there's a lot of things that have a secondary as well, like you can pick up a firework and use it as a projectile, but also to launch yourself up on the ground and smash down on enemies. That's a lot of fun. There's a lot of freedom in how you want to complete this game, though. Not only the weapons, but there's several pathways you can choose through the level to complete the mission. The enemies in the game are... You can be killed in one hit, and so can the enemies. So you're going to die, and you're going to die a lot, but the reloads are really fast. You're going to be swapping weapons a lot in this game. They get destroyed pretty quickly, 1 to 3 hits, but there's always something around to grab. In between levels, you go to a campground where you do your character progression and get your boost in that, and you can also go to there to replay levels. And then the last thing it offers is there's a lot of different hats that you can put on your character, and they offer all different kinds of abilities. So that's a lot of fun as well. But a really fun game, simple controls, simple gameplay, but a solid challenge, good story, lots of humor. Can't recommend it enough. Here's a trailer for Bloodroots. Alright, that's it for Volume 36 of Nintendo Switch Hidden Gems. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the game selection. If you find any games here you want to add to your collection based on this video, if you throw me a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. So until the next one, take care, may you be blessed, and I am out of here. See y'all later.